Have you guys ever wondered how to get your business to rank on ChatGPT as a recommendation or other search platforms? Well, today in this video, we're going to talk about that. The easiest way to show you guys how this works is to just have a visual example. So for this example, I wrote who's the best medical staffing company in Jacksonville, Florida, and we had all these different search results pop up. And what you really want to notice is that if you come down here, there's something that says sources, and you'll even see under these other little tiny ones, it'll say which source it's specifically pulled from. But you really want to pay attention to the weighting, or in this situation, they call it citations. The top has the most amount of weight to it, and the bottom has the least amount of weight. And all medical staffing, if we open up their tab here, they just had a page on here that says it. It didn't really have anything else. And if we check a lot of these sites as well for their domain authority or backlinks, there isn't really any competition. They just made a page that said exactly what they did. So that's kind of what you want to get the major theory behind here is how do you get yourself into the sources section on the right. Now the second thing is how do people talk? So who is the best medical staffing company in Jacksonville, Florida? Much different before than on Google when you would type in best medical staffing company. So you're getting this extra portion on how people speak, and you're going to want to have to identify that on how the different ways that people will say things, and also how they say it for your industry. And there's a way to also derive that, which we'll get on later in the video as well. So then we come down to here, and I said if you had to pick one, who's the best? And this time it referenced Indeed as the source. Well, this is a commercial keyword, right? They got all these options. Someone might realistically say, which one do we want to go with? And they'll pull from Indeed, so now you need to work on your Indeed a little bit and pull that up. Or clearlyrated.com. This is another one. The four major categories for local-based businesses that they tend to pull from is Google My Business Profiles, Wikipedia, news sites, and directories. I believe Clearly Rated is a directory. Yep, it is right there. There you go. So if you want to also break it down simple in terms of any types of places you should be having your attention into, it's just those four places to keep it simple. Now, coming back over into here, I wrote who's cheapest to hire. This is another commercial keyword. And we got these three different results, and this one referenced truecare.com. Let's open this guy up. And this was their own website, it looks like. Yep, so they just had a page on their website that talked about them being cost effective. And maybe they worded it in the right way as well. So let's come over and check out their actual website. Boom, they wrote cost effective nurses hiring with very competitive rates. Let's right click on that and let's see what type of header tag they put behind that as well, just to see what we're missing out on here. So they put an H3 for that one. Okay, so that tells you as well that they can read up to H3s. I think before we used to only really do H2s, but that tells you how do you market on your website just so it's easy for an AI to read. Same thing here with Arbor Medical. Let's see how they did it on their website. And where's Arbor? Arbor's right here. All right, and where does it talk about healthcare professionals, loyalty? Where do they talk about exceptional pay rates? Pay rates is the word they were using. And pay, there it is. Industry pay rate. So they scanned this entire site and they found that down here at the very bottom, it is also a paragraph header. Just as a little side note there. Maybe that's why they're ranked number 2. Let's move on. So which company can fill my hospital today? I need someone by 9 a.m., 6 hours from now. And that is a realistic thing. I mean, when people are hiring for specifically staffing, they have a lot of trouble getting people in on time. And the fastest person is usually the person they're going to hire. And this is probably the major pain point whenever it comes to staffing. So we have All Medical, we have Arbor, and then, oh, here we go, we have Relief Staffing. And now this will give a different results as well because this just says 24/7 support. This is 24/7 support. But this one, it doesn't really mention that, but maybe there's a sign that they actually get people in quicker. Just because they offer support doesn't mean that they'll necessarily get someone in quicker than someone else. But even though relief staffing may be the better choice, how do we get relief staffing to maybe pop up for number one instead? So maybe adding on the 24/7 support, considering that these people probably copied each other saying the same exact thing. But for some reason, ChatGPT ranks this as being higher, even though support isn't the correct outcome. What we'll probably see in the future is ChatGPT will just get smarter, and these other AI platforms will get smarter, and they'll just update it accordingly. So that's essentially it from the sources section. Now we're going to get on to how do you implement things on your website or these directories so then you can actually have a realistic outcome. So now we're going to come back over to our first query, and we're going to have this little reminder that they mainly reference Google My Business profiles, directories, Wikipedia, and news sites, preferably local news sites. So let's first dive into our Google My Business profile. So superior medical staffing pops up first, and what I immediately notice is this is called medical staffing. Meanwhile, relief staffing doesn't have the word medical in it. So if you make a little maybe of a branding change, that would probably help out a lot if that was implemented. Another thing to take a big look at is the reviews. So if you come to reviews down here, let's come over to, do we have anything that uses the word medical or a synonym to it? So this says 6 days ago. This says most relevant. Okay, so let's look for anything else that is maybe very relevant here. Nothing really mentioned on the medical side, but let's come over to the number one ranking person. And if we look at our most relevant person, or most relevant category, it says superior medical staffing. So that's using the word medical, their keyword or query in this scenario. Medical staffing here. Let's try to find one where they don't even talk about the brand so we can kind of improve a different process here. Have to get a good job in record time. Okay, it's addressing that pain point. Maybe that's why they're considering it the best under that review. Oh, but this is interesting. This says 4 years ago. If you have an old review from 4 years ago with not a lot of reviews, that means they wrote this review in a really good way. So it's what they wrote in the review. So let's see what they said here. Job both times, amazing experience. That probably is a little ranking factor there. Good job. They did a good job. They helped me grow with my medical knowledge as well. So this one, they did a really good job at hitting all their different bases. And honestly, what I would do is I would probably upload this to ChatGPT myself and just figure out all the different ways you can say the same thing so you're hitting these different ranking factors. And then just give it to your clients so that when they leave you a review, they can say the right thing and it helps you out at the same time. Next point I want to go into is now the directory. So they picked up G2 and this popped up number 2. So it looked like they weren't just getting the algorithm boost from the Google My Business profile, but they also referenced G2 as a directory. And this is the specific page of the directory that they were listed under. And quite simply, look, they're ranked last. You could rank you put your site on here, rank last, and this would probably give you a really large boost when it comes to AI content. That is kind of the beauty in ranking. It kind of reset the entire program because SEO is so hard to compete in nowadays. But I mean, you could just fill in these little different boxes and you can have a really good chance at ranking high. A large portion of this is you're going to have to know why people hire staffing services in the first place. So a great way to find out is just by asking ChatGPT yourself. So I asked ChatGPT, what are the top things people look for when hiring a medical staffing company? And here's all the different reasons. So maybe you can even ask ChatGPT how to write questions out of this. Let's just do a little practice there. What questions would people ask in AI around these? I'm typing on my computer. If I was speaking into it on my phone, it'd be a lot easier, but double tasking here or multitasking. So here, you can type in all these different queries and find out all the different commercial keywords you want to rank for. Or, geez, you can tell them so you're saying keywords, queries that you want to rank for. So here's another great example. I took this query, which medical staffing companies have the most experience in Jacksonville, Florida, and I put it into ChatGPT. And look, we actually have a Wikipedia reference, which is a new one. And this just shows a whole different way of how they reference and pull information. So unlike before where there were just maybe on Google a few different keywords that a lot of people ranked under, now you need to rank in a bunch of different areas, but not put as much time maybe into backlinking and all these other areas. It's just showing up in as many places as possible, which is really fun because it kind of evens out the playing field that you weren't able to really do before, especially as a smaller business. I think another important point to note here is that commercial keywords usually have some type of source to be referenced. Like I took this question, is it important for a healthcare staffing company to be accredited? I plugged it in, but now we have no sources at all. I was just able to pull the information directly from the internet. So odds are if there isn't a source, it probably isn't an area that you want to spend too much time into. And that's pretty much the meat of it for this result. There's so many other things to go into and so many other items that we could address based off of industries and different types of queries that we can look at, but this is it. So if you like this type of content, you'd like to see more, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like me to do your business to see all the different places you have to rank for. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.